Okay, so we want to see with this example how we can switch the order of the layers in our layer panel with a script. So let's try to switch the order of these two layers. Of course, it makes sense that the point layer is on top because otherwise we cannot see it, but we're going to do it anyway. So to be able to do that, we need to have access to this layer tree, like in the that as we did in the previous video. Um, so the first thing I'll need is to have a variable for my project. For my project, so I'm going to run this. I mean, you could use directly this instance of the QGIS project if you don't want to create a new variable. I'm doing this so the code gets shorter later. So here's the instance of the QGIS project, and by the way, it's a singleton instance, which means that there's only one project at a time. So we need to access the layer tree. So we're going to create a root variable that points to the root of the layer tree here. And now we can navigate over this root, over this layer tree. But what we want to do is to switch, basically we're going to switch the position of this layer here. So I only need the name of the layer I want to move in my layer tree. So we saw that before. We can use the method map layers by name with the argument is the name of the layer that returns a list. This all is a list. I'm going to run it just to see. It starts and ends with a bracket, but I only want the first element of the list, so I'm going to just get the first with the index 0. So run selected, and now my layer is going to be the layer I want. So the layer I want to move that has this name. Okay, so next I'll need I need to find the object which is the layer tree layer that corresponds to that layer. So this is done using the find layer method over the root, over the layer tree. And the argument is the ID of my layer. So I get the ID of my layer with this ID method. So if I do that, I'll get the ID. And now I'm going to get a QGIS layer tree layer that points to the layer I want. So it's going to point to this layer. Okay, I'm going to do that, get my new variable. Okay, and now I have this one, which is pointing to this layer. And what we need to do now is to do a little trick. I cannot just go and move it there. I need to make a copy of it, insert the copy in the right place, and then remove my original layer. So that's what's happening here. So I'm using a method called clone, which applies to objects of class QGIS layer 3 layer. So I'm going to clone that and get a new object. I'm going to run. So this is still object of class layer 3 layer. Now I can insert, remember that root was object of class QGIS layer 3. So I can insert a layer 3 layer instead in a layer 3, and this is done with the method insert child node. So this is the layer 3 layer I want to insert, and this is the position. The position counts like this is 0, 1, and then it's going to be 2. It's going to be after this one. So that's the position is 2. So I'm going to run that. And now I have my clone inserted where I wanted it. And now this is done, I can, remember the clone is this one. And my tree layer is the original one. So I can remove the original one, which I do with this line of code. Okay, so I successfully switch the layers. It seems a lot of work to do this, but you know, that's probably the simplest way you can do it with a script. If you want to put it back programmatically, basically you want to get it exactly the same thing, but now you want to put it in position 0. So I'm going to switch to by 0. I'm going to going to redo this, and now it went back. It went to position 0, and I deleted the tree layer that I had.